Hello one and all. The topic that we are going to see today is firewire. Firewire is nothing but it is a method of transferring the information between the digital devices. So we obviously know that there are various sorts of digital devices, audio, video, etc. So transferring of devices, the transferring of information between the digital devices, especially between the audio and video equipment, is called as firewire. So the IEEE for this is IEEE 1394. So it is actually too fast. The latest version achieves up to 800 Mbps. So it is too quick because the audio and the video that we are talking has to synchronize with each other. So in order to cope up with that, the latest version has 800 Mbps. So that is the greatest speed capacity of this firewire. And at some time in future, the number is expected to jump to an unbelievable 3.2 GPS when manufacturers overhaul the current firewire cables. So this firewire obviously has a greater capacity of reaching the people with a greater speed capacity. So for example, the firewire is plug and play. So if you connect to a new firewire device to your computer, the operating system auto detects it and asks for the driver's disk. If you have already installed the device, the computer activates it and starts talking to it. Firewire detects are hot pluggable, which means they can be connected and disconnected at any time, even when the power on. So this is a greatest advantage of this firewire. It is also called as high-speed computer data transfer interface uh, between which is used to connect personal computers, audio and video devices as well, and other professional consumer electronic items also. So it has a greater capacity and a greater bandwidth as well. And devices on a firewire network can be connected and disconnected without cycling power. So even though if the power is on or off, it doesn't matter. You can connect or disconnect anytime. Because of its fast and reliable transfer rate, IEEE 1394, it is frequently used in professional video editing and real-time transmissions. It is commonly used to connect the electronic appliances in automobiles such as DVD players, stereos, and GPS. So it has a greater speeding capacity as well. Scientists also have at the Apple first conceived the interface in 1986, and the company was the driving force behind the IEEE working group developed this standard actually. So this is obviously having a greater capacity, and it is similar to the USB, but there are certain differences between this firewire and this USB. And also the firewire provides a single plug and socket connection on which up to 63 devices can be attached and with greater speed of 400 Mbps. So if 63 devices can be connected to a single wire with a speed capacity of 400 Mbps, it is obviously a drastic development. And this standard describes a serial bus or pathway between one or more peripheral devices and your computer's microprocessor. So obviously we can see that very clearly that this 400 Mbps speed and with a greater serial bus capacity, it can drive your computer's microprocessor. And so it has a similar capacity to this USB, but it is not actually this USB. Both FireWire and USB technologies are connect devices to a computer and transfer data quickly actually. Whereas the FireWire is also known by the term of IEEE 1394 high performance serial bus, and USB stands for Universal Serial bus. The main difference between the two is the FireWire is made to handle more data than USB. So when compared to this USB, the work performance may be the same, but the thing is, this USB, particularly the audio and visual information between this USB and this FireWire is a little higher than the USB. However, a 2.0 USB can manage 127 devices, while an 800 FireWire can manage up to 63 devices. Both work using the plug and play hot pluggable technology. So we have seen it already that it is you can plug it anytime and you can disconnect it anytime. So that is the plug and play technology, which is actually called as hot pluggable technology. Another big difference between this USB and Wi-Fi is that USB networking is based on the most host, whereas FireWire networking is directly peer-to-peer. FireWire is actually, you can be connected towards your peer, that is the next to next system. That means in order to communicate with each other through a USB, two devices have to be connected to a computer. Meanwhile, the FireWire connection can be completed directly between two devices without a need of a computer in the middle. The USB network technology is a hub, while FireWire network is a daisy chain. So obviously that is the main difference between the USB and the FireWire. The two technologies are still mainly the same. Actually, the working performance of both are still the same, but obviously there are some changes between them. There are obviously some differences between them. A FireWire and IEEE 1394 implementations provide the following: a simple common plug-in serial conductor and the back of your computer, and on many different types of peripheral devices. A thin serial cable rather than a thicker parallel cable you now use to your printer, for example. A very high speed rate of data transfer that will accommodate multimedia applications, hot plug and plug and play capability without disrupting your computer, the ability to chain devices together in a number of ways without terminators or complicated setup requirements. So these are some of the simple factors that are main devices of this features. And then there are various other specifications and versions also. FireWire 400, IEEE i349A, FireWire 800. So each of them are actually totally different, and they are higher versions than the previous one. The original specification capable of data transfer speeds of 100, 200 and 400 Mbps released in 1995. Whereas IEEE i394A, an improvement of over FireWire 400, adding support for asynchronous streaming, packet concatenation, and a suspend mode for reduced power consumption, released in 2000. So there was a 5-year gap between these two. And whereas the FireWire 800 increased data transfer rate up to 3200 Mbps using beta mode or using an optical cable, released in 2002. So there was a two-year gap between these two. And then we also have the FireWire S 800T technology improvements to provide 800 Mbps data transfer rate using the same connection as Cat 5e cable, released in June 2007. FireWire S1600 and S3200 capable of data transfer speeds of 1.57 Mbps and 3.14 Mbps respectively. And these are the two various capabilities of this FireWire. A FireWire is a high-speed real-time interface for serial bus and asynchronous synchronous data transfer between the enabled devices. Known for its high performance, FireWire is used in digital audio and video, camcorders, home entertainment applications, CPU and PC. Offers sustained transfer rates of over 3200 Mbits. So this is a greatest advantage of this. And this technology, this is why the USB is used as standard in most computer. High speed still neither is prohibitively expensive, and both allow numerous devices to be connected to computers easily. Both allow fast transfer of data, although the speed difference has already been noted. Actually, speaking of which, both have the same capacity. And also speaking of which, the FireWire includes plug and socket connector adaptivity for up to 63 devices with data transfer rate up to 400 Mbps. It's actually peer-to-peer, you mean, which can be connected to next devices which are parallel or side by side. Plug and play support, which allows operating system and automatically detect, configure new peripherals without system shutdown. Hot swapping, which enables component removal and replacement without system shutdown. So this is one of the basic main feature of this FireWire. Along with the USB, the FireWire is another popular connector for adding peripherals to your computer. The FireWire has the advantage of being able to transfer power to the device through the same cable that does the data transfer. A disadvantage of the FireWire is that the cables tend to be more expensive. FireWire was originally developed by the Apple and comes standard for on Macintosh computers. Even though most camcorders also include USB 2 connectors, two sorts of connectors, these may be only be used to download the digital images. Many new camcorders can take. To download video, you would use a FireWire connection. Like USB, the FireWire supports different connector types. The end of the cable goes into the computer in 6-pin cable, while the smaller connector that goes into the camcorder is a 4-pin cable. To connect two computers, you will need 6-pin to 6 cable. Obviously, in order to connect, we need the same set of 6 pins and 6 cables. So these are some of the characteristics of a FireWire. So with the help of this FireWire, we can attach the data information along with the video and audio. Obviously, as we know, we can transfer this with the help of USB, but this FireWire has a greater capacity than this USB. USB can connect fewer ports, whereas this can connect higher ports. Though USB has even a greater capacity finally, but this has a greater speed capacity also, this FireWire. So hope in this video you have learned as what is a FireWire and what are the uses and the capacity of this FireWire, and also we have seen the differences between the FireWire and the USB. So with this we will conclude, and for more information or if you have any doubts or queries, you can just contact me. I have attached my mail ID to the video, and you can contact me if you have any doubts or queries. Thank you for watching.